Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson and the 210 setup. Now I'm not going to give the full overview now of everything I did to it. What I am going to show you is how I put my stand together. Now this isn't a how to build an aquarium stand, this is just kind of what I did. I'm not a structural engineer, I'm not a carpenter, I'm not qualified to tell you how to build a stand, but what I can do is show you what I did and how it came out. So let's check it out.
So here's the stand for the 210. And it looks really good. Basically, it's just 2x4s and 2x6s. The top is all made out of 2x4s, the bottom's 2x4s, and then the structural uprights are 2x6s. And this is just the structural support, so it's not as pretty as it's gonna be. Basically, this is what the tank is gonna sit on, and this is what's gonna take all the weight. When I get this inside, I'm gonna go ahead and clad it in much nicer material. But for now, this is just the strong bits that are going to hold the tank up. I've gone ahead and spray painted this whole tank black, and I think that just really makes it look nice. And when I go ahead and clad this and I get all the siding on and the floorboards on and everything, you won't see a lot of this structure, but you'll see a little bit. And having that black is just going to look a lot better than having the bare wood. So the current plan is when I'm ready, I'm going to tear down the 90-gallon tank and put all the livestock downstairs in the basement. And then I'm going to cut the carpet out, and I'm going to slide this tank in place, put the new 210 tank on top, fill it with water, and get that thing ready to run. So basically what I'm going to be left with is this skeletal frame holding up the tank. Everything will be plumbed in and running, and then I can get my fish, my corals, everything back in the tank and get that life support system going as fast as possible. I really want to leave the fish and the coral in the sump for as little time as possible. The fear is the longer they're down there, the more likely I am to do harm to them. So this method will allow me to get the tank set up, get it running, and then I can focus on doing the really nice cladding on the outside of it for the built-in at my leisure as I have time to do it. So I cut the top today, and it turned out pretty good. This is a piece of MDF, 1/2 inch. I cut it to exactly the size of the stand. Cut out some pretty decent looking holes for the overflows. And I think all in all it looks pretty good. And then I have it sitting on a piece of styrofoam. The idea is that the styrofoam will kind of make up the difference in height from kind of out of levelness of the 2x4s. So I think that's actually going to work really well. That way when the tank sits down on it, the styrofoam is compressed more in the areas that are high and less in the areas that are low, and that should kind of level the load out a little bit and add a little less stress on the high points of the tank. So I think this is going to work out really well. I'm super happy with it, and we'll see what it looks like when I put the tank on. I got the tank out, and one of my big problems is I've got an air conditioning vent and I've got plumbing for the tank right where I need the stand to go. So I'm in the process of cutting the carpet out. I just took a razor blade to it, and I'm going to rip that out and figure out the best way to model this to make the new tank work. Carpet's out. Yeah, I've got lots of tack strips and staples I gotta pull up. And here's the stand in place. And I think it looks pretty good. Right now I've just got the carpet cut right to the edge of the stand, and that is not permanent. The carpet's coming out, I'm putting slate floors in, so that's no big deal. I've got the stand itself sitting right on the hardwood floor, which is exactly how I want it. And then for this return line, I had to drill another hole. I've got a duct here that I'm gonna have to mold into a part of my stand, which will be interesting. And then my 2-inch return is gonna be back, or sorry, my 2-inch drain line is gonna be back here behind it. So it's all gonna work out really well. It's just because of where everything has to be and where my previous plumbing is, it makes it a little more difficult than I'd like. But it's going to work well, it's going to be great, just a little extra work. here we are, 9 hours of hard work, but there's the big 210 in place, and I think it looks freaking awesome. I still don't have any plumbing coming in from the basement. I've just got the return lines stuck on there. I'm going to have to mod them and make them fit right, but yes, look at it. It's on. It's beautiful. I can't wait.
Stands in place, tank's on, it's running, it's looking good, and I think this is going to work out really well. The important part to remember about this stand is think of this as phase 1. This is just the bones. In a few months, when I get my floors done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to skin this thing, and it's going to be floor to ceiling of built-in. It should be absolutely gorgeous. My goal is to use a stone wood mix on this and maybe some glass tile mixed in. So I think it's going to work out really awesome. But for now, it looks good in my living room. But long term, it should be amazing. So thanks for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers. And if you haven't checked me out on Facebook, check me out. I'm always posting photos there. And I'll see you on the next one.